Hello YouTube, welcome back. This is EasyB Tactical. Today we're going to review my project of HK MP5SD. In this case an actual SP5SD clone. This one happens to be by Century Arms or MK. Let's get right on to it. So this is still a work in progress. However, I just finally got the suppressor from B&T, which is an SD suppressor meant for MP5SD. I'm going to test the level of volume between this suppressor and other suppressor. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this, my MP5SD project, and then we're going to showcase a couple of other MP5 related clones. So before I do that, let me put my eyes in here. So right now I'm going to shoot some 124 grains FMG ball ammo, and then we're going to switch to some 147 and see if I get a difference. Pretty quiet, so I want to know how quiet it's going to be. Kind of. It's hard with the EMF. Let's give it a try. Okay, so it's quiet, but it's not the quietest. But let's keep it a few more. Not bad. So that was 124 grains. Let's try the 147. And before I do, like I said, this is a 9mm sub gun. In this case, it's semi-automatic. It's not the real deal. This one is by Century Arms, produced and manufactured by MK, imported by Century Arms. I just recently got this. It's an SBR because I put a stock brace on it, stock whatever you call it, but I use SBR. I'm using the B&T SD suppressor that was meant for the MP5SD. This is an original suppressor for the MP5. So it comes threaded as an M8 by 1, if I'm not mistaken, or M18. However, this pistol had a half by 28 threaded barrel, so I had to add an adapter from the B&T suppressor to make it fit the thread of the barrel. So that's 147 grain. The tone changes, more quiet, still some noise, but the tone is different. So not so much necessarily the volume or the loudness, but the tone is different. I think they're still around in there. Yep. Okay, let's swap suppressors and see what happens. MP5SD can from B&T. As you can see, I added an adapter to make it fit the half by 28. B&T did offer me the option to change the end cap that I wanted, and I wanted the original look. So this is the original look with the seal version with the 2 holes for your wrench attachment for your tools. Okay, now let's see how this sounds without a suppressor. Keep in mind the barrel is coming all the way to right here, and it's threaded, and it also has a tri-lug. So you can mount a tri-lug suppressor or a half by 28 can on it. So let's see. No suppressor. So let's try this on Octane 45 for which is a tri-lug, and because this has a tri-lug on the inside, I can also swap it and install a tri-lug. And I'm going to shoot the 147 grains again. Not too bad. Let me reload a little bit. So while I'm reloading, the Sentry MKE/MKE SP5 SD, it's a good replica. Besides the barrel, I think it's almost it matches a lot of the features and looks of the original firearm. I really love the suppressed firearms, and I really wanted to have an SD. I have found out there's some options to get a real SD. You can have it sent to some companies that will port the barrel, swap it, and re-weld it and make it really look original. I do have the intention to either get a B&T barrel or find a parts kit. But again, all those additional projects to get as close to a real MP5 SD as I can will increase the cost of this little project here. So I'm not sure how far I'm gonna go with this, because at the end of the day, I have a couple of other clones of MP5 and HK SP5. So this is really just purely meant for the collection and the look, and because it's just so fun. But funds are always limited. A couple more of 124 grains on the Octane 45, and then we'll switch to my other clone, PTR 9CT originally, SP5, and another B&T suppressor for fixed PCC carbine rifle. Let's go. So not bad. So the Octane 45, the note is a little louder, but still smooth sounding, if I can describe that as smooth. Let's take my main one, my first one. This is the first MP5 clone that I acquired, the OG in the collection, which is based out of a PTR 9CT, and it's been modified. I have a handguard from B&T with the light. I have it's a shot by rifle registered, fixed stock. I change the configuration once in a while, but in this case I have an endpoint COM5 up on top. The fixed stock, just simple. It changes a lot, but what have been remaining constant are the red dot, the lower, and eventually I'm going to make my way to something full automatic. Okay, so this is about the same. I literally received this suppressor yesterday. This suppressor was actually meant for an HK P7. Now I have loaded the 147 grains. Let's see what happens. I'm going to aim at the dirt so you can hear more of the noise. So pretty good noise reduction. Now let's shoot my actual HK SP5, which I learned something. This is a CTS magazine transparent, which one I'm using, the one I'm using for the 147 grain. It always has trouble entering an HK product. It works okay with the PTR, it works okay with the Sentry, but just now when I tried to load it on the HK, there was more resistance. So the tolerance in the magazine wells are tighter on the HK product. So this is my HK SP5 with my red dot from Gideon, and I am going to use the 147 grain to show you an idea of the sound. And the suppressor here is an Omega 9K, one of my favorite cans. Oh, and I See, like I was saying, the magazine is not sitting all the way up. So let's load it again with the charging locked on up. So what we just witnessed is one of the reasons why the manual of arms of the HK SP5 and MP5 recommend loading a magazine with the charging paddle up in the up position with the bolt open, because you want to make sure there's room. The way the bolt sits on the MP5 or SP5, it sits lower than the chamber. So when you put a magazine and the bolt is closed, you're actually fighting space against the bolt from the magazine. And as you saw, I loaded it properly, but it couldn't chamber around because it was too tight. So don't load your magazine with your bolt closed like I did. Okay, one thing I noticed, and I should have kept track, the casing on the SD can or the suppress cans, they get really foul with carbon, depending on which gun I shoot them from. So on the SD version of the B&T cans, lots of fouling, the casing gets really dark. Again, that was another round of 124 grains. Of course, if you wonder what SD stands for, it's Schalldämpfer, German word for suppress or suppressor. So an SD rifle is Schalldämpfer, something like that from the pronunciation, but so that's all I have for today, to be honest. Century Arms 9x19mm SP5 SD that I'm slowly turning into a proper SP5 SD and then potentially an MP5 SD. Stay tuned. Let me know in the comment if you use a clone MP5 and what brand you're using, and if yours is suppressed, what's your favorite suppressor to run on it. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, share the video. See you later. This is what we were shooting at. Again, SP5, very accurate.